What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Chris the Dice Degen here on Casino Gaming TV, bringing you the daily wager. And today we're going to be talking about the PGA Championship that starts tomorrow. So if you're not a golf fan, well, unfortunate. But PGA Championship starts tomorrow, and looking forward to it. So I'm going to break down the course, going to break down the field, going to break down all that kind of stuff for you today. But hope everyone's having a great Wednesday today. And yeah, let's pop into some chat about some sports and some golf. You guys know what's happening with all this stuff, my legal team, all that kind of stuff. So today we're talking about the PGA Championship, and it's going to be an exciting day. Second major of the year, obviously, for the golf world. And tough little track this year. I'm going to break it down. Chiro, what's going on, boss? How are you? Kent, what's up, my man? So yeah, PGA Championship this weekend, starting tomorrow, obviously goes through the weekend, but they're playing at a tough little track this week, and it was tough before. It's gotten even tougher, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Chiro loves him some golf, want to play around with you. Anytime, brother, let me know. I am always down to play. Got my PGA hat on today, a little PGA hat from Kiowa Island. That's what I'm rocking on the lid today. But let's pop into it, all right? So before we get into the chat real quick, I'm going to break down, obviously, the tournament today. No show tomorrow. Had a couple of work things come up during my normal show time, so I will not have a show tomorrow. And then Friday we will have the Preakness breakdown. Same thing like I did for the Kentucky Derby. Going to be the exact same format, same system, same everything pretty much. So that is on Friday. So today, PGA, no show tomorrow. Friday, Preakness, we're talking ponies. Golf and ponies, two of my favorite things. All right, what's going on, Craig? Big fan of golf, I see. Don't play it so much, but you like watching it. Well, that's good. We can turn you into a golfer. I'm not too worried about that. All right, so I told you it starts tomorrow, and it's going to run through Sunday. It's being played at Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester, New York. Why do you care? Well, the course matters, all right? The course matters where they're playing every single year, and Oak Hill has seen some changes. There's a weird thing moving on my screen. Let me get rid of that. All right. Maybe it's gone now. I don't know what that was. Some fuzz on the camera or something. Anyway, Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester. So it's a Donald Ross design if you care, all right? Some people care about who designs the course, some people don't, but it was redesigned in 2019 by Andrew Green, all right? And there's a lot of changes that came through it. So I'm going to skip down to the bottom here. With the redesign, they removed almost 600 trees, okay? They changed the bunkers and they changed some greens. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is the third time that the PGA Championship is here. I think they've had like 11 other PGA events there, but the other ones don't really matter because this is the first time that they're playing on this course since the redesign, all right? And this is why I'm saying forget about the other ones. Trees were removed, like I said, almost 600 trees. Now the rough is more open. There's not as many narrow holes. The fairways are still narrow, but the holes aren't so narrow. So guys who were getting penalized with errant tee shots in previous years aren't going to be penalized as much this year because they may still have a line to the green. So just putting that out there. Obviously, the rough is still going to be very thick. I'll get into that in a bit. But they removed a lot of trees, and the bunkers now are deep. They're almost like an Open Championship type bunker. Not necessarily. Some of the lips on these bunkers are 3.5, 4 feet deep. So that will cause some issues for players, especially in the fairways and stuff. If they're not hitting the fairway and they're in a fairway bunker, they may have to punch out, things like that. And the greens changed as well. So for those of you who don't golf and maybe might not know this, obviously there's a lot of greenside bunkers around a lot of courses. When you hit out of the sand, out of the bunker, the sand carries up onto the green, and it changes the edging of the green a little bit over time. Now, it's not going to change it with one or two swings out of there, but if you're playing on a course for years and they're not removing that sand or they're not rolling it away, then it will change what the edges of the greens look like a little bit. So the redesign, they changed it all. All right. So it's a par 70, 7,400 yards. It's a long course for that type of par. All right. And there's narrow fairways, thick rough, and deep bunkers. All right. So I'm going to get into who I like and why I like them. But remember this: narrow fairways, thick rough, deep bunkers. It's going to explain why I like other people as we go. All right. So why don't we get into what the course looks like? I have a view of what the course looks like here. So I'm going to pop into this. All right. First hole, par 4, 460 yards. Good little opening hole. This is what I'm talking about with some of the green side bunkers right around here. And you can see those lips there. Now, around the greens, it's not so much of an issue because you're not looking to hit a long shot out of the greens. But these types of bunkers are positioned throughout the course in the fairways, which will make it hard to hit even like a mid to long iron out of those greens or out of those bunkers. So pay attention. All right. Here you go. Here's an example of a nice, this is the second hole. It's a par 4, 405 yards. So to the pros, this is a relatively short par 4. It's an average length, I would say. Maybe not short, but it's on the shorter side. To the recreational player, this is going to seem like a long hole. But look at this fairway. All right. Look how narrow that fairway is coming in. Now, the guys aren't looking to be in this range here, because they're not going to be hitting driver off this tee. And I can tell you that for a fact. Why? Well, these bunkers are about 80 yards out from the green. So if you look at most driving distance on tour, you're looking at that about 295 to 315 range, which brings these bunkers into play. Look for guys here to be hitting long irons, maybe some hybrids off the tee, and be sitting short of these bunkers. Now, if you get someone who's aggressive, who's going to go for it, that could end up in a world of hurt with what this rough looks like. You may not have an angle with some of these trees, and obviously that you're bringing the bunkers into play. The other thing here to focus on this hole, which the guys shouldn't be having an issue here, but you may see them have an issue. If they hit an errant tee shot on this, you've got these two trees here, the one on the right and the one on the left, semi-blocking that green may make a tough approach shot there if you're not in the fairway. So, again, driving accuracy is going to be key. Third hole, we're looking at a par 3. But look at this bunker complex around this green. All right, look at this bunker complex. So right now the hole is here. Also, for those of you who don't know, for golf, they change the pin position on the green every single day. So all 4 days there's going to be different pins. And very interesting, with this pin placement here, right, it's a risk-reward type shot. Are you aiming for the middle of the green here and have a relatively longer putt, let's call it a 20, 25-footer, or are you going at this pin here, bringing this bunker into play, bringing the rough behind the green into play if you overhit it, right? This pin moves over to the left side of the green, which it will be on one of the days. Now you got these two bunkers coming into play. So doesn't help also that this is a relatively long hole. Now, these guys are obviously great ball strikers, and they're going to be hitting, long irons into this green, maybe a mid iron for some of the long guys. But, bunkers here could play a massive part. And the one thing with some of these bunkers, especially these greenside bunkers here, that if you're in those with these kind of lips, like this is like a 3.5 foot lip right here. If this pin is on this side of the green, short-sided, and you're in that bunker, you're going to be hitting over to the back of the edge of the green, probably 3-putting. If you're good, maybe a 2-putt. But that's what I'm saying. Some of these bunkers are nasty on this course. So third hole, looking at the fourth hole here. Again, you got some tree coverage on the left-hand side. You got those bunkers that come into play. This is a par 5. It's the first par 5 on the course. And it's the only par 5 on the front 9. All right, so the par 70, typically speaking, most courses are at a par 72, which means there's 4 par 5s on this course. At a par 70, there's only 2 par 5s. All right. Now, you can go for this one in 2. It's short enough that these guys can reach in 2, but you're bringing these bunkers into play. All right, so, risk-reward type thing there as well. Fifth hole, we're looking at another par 3, and this green is relatively diabolical. And the reason I'm going to say that is it looks flat. It's not. All right, you can take a look here. I'll try to zoom in for you. a little bit there. All right, so it looks like a plateau. If you don't hit this green, you're in some trouble, especially if you're short-sided. You're not going to be stopping the ball out of that rough. All right, so just go in there. If you have a good tee shot, obviously you can make a nice birdie there. But if you don't, it could be a rough day for you if you miss that green. We got another par 4, 500-yard par 4. Some water comes into play on this hole. Again, risk reward. And this is why when I go into the stats, I'm going to be talking about driving accuracy and driving distance. The water runs the entire way up the right side of this hole here. So if you hit the ball out to the right, typically, water can come into play here. It's also going to come into play on the second shot up here in the green complex. It runs up there. Let's see here. Again, the same creek runs all throughout most of the 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So here you got some interesting spots here because the creek runs right where some of these guys are looking to hit their tee shots to. So could provide some issues there. And it goes up the right side and then crosses right through the middle of the fairway. So the tee shot has to be very carefully placed here, or you could find yourself in some trouble. 8th hole, we got another par 4. This one, it says it even in the description, the driving area is relatively generous. It is compared to the other holes, right? You don't have water on the right or left side running through the middle or anything here. But there are trees here that may come into play on an errant tee shot, but what's going to come into play here are these greenside bunkers, all right? These are going to cause some issues if you're not hitting the green, and you can see the undulations in this green. Quite crazy. All right, I see some chats coming in. Let me finish this 9th hole here, and then we'll go to the back 9 pretty quickly. I'm just looking at what time it is. I do have a hard stop today. 9th hole here. It's an uphill dogleg right, and it's a pretty narrow fairway that you're trying to land into with some tree trouble that could come into play on that approach shot. So interesting little hole because it doesn't look too challenging, but it is quite challenging. All right, 9th. That's the 9th hole. Before I get to the back 9 here, let me go flip over to some questions. That's why you just chip it in. Okay, there you go. Chip it in the hole. Bing, bang, boom. Simple enough, yeah? Always go short of the bunker. Got to improve the bunker game, my man. Need a long shot to hit top 40. Major invested in this event, 50 miles from me. I'll show you some bets coming up. I do have a couple long shots that I do like, and I'll tell you why when we get into the betting. Speaking of the world's best water skipper of golf, John Rahm has that thing. Did you see him at Augusta on the 16th hole? Skip it like 6 times over the water, up to the back edge of the green, comes back down in, hole in one on the 16th hole. Pretty wild. Pretty cool. All right, back to the course. Here we go. 10th hole. All right. Another par 4. You got the water back into play here. This water is not really into play, I'll be honest with you, except for those really long hitters that are pulling driver here, but I don't see them really doing it. What is in play here, what may cause an issue, is this tree. So this tree is on the left-hand side approaching the green. So if you're on the left side of the fairway, you might have some issues coming into this, unless you're going to play like a nice high draw or a high fade if you're a lefty. But that's really the only issue here. This creek is about 350 from the tee box. Now, can some guys hit it? Absolutely. But look for most guys to be in this range area here. Okay? All right, number 11, we got another par 3, another long hole, 245 yards with crazy bunker complex around the green. All right, again, errant tee shot here, not an accurate tee shot. You're going to be in some trouble here in those bunkers. 12th hole, we're looking at another par 4, relatively short, 400 yards for these guys. And nothing crazy, but it is a narrow fairway. It does require relatively accurate tee shot in order to be able to have a good approach shot into the green. A greenside bunker is your friend. So yes and no. I don't mind greenside bunkers. I'll tell you that. I am a fairly good bunker player. I play with a couple people who are not good bunker players, and I will tell you they hate the greenside bunker. They'd rather have a shot out of the water than hitting out of the greenside bunker. I personally don't mind them, but on this course, the green side bunkers are a little bit more challenging, though. That's the only reason I'm bringing them up, is because of those lips that they have. And pretty much every green side bunker does have that lip. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, these guys are obviously great bunker players and great sand saving stat players. The issue is based on pin placement and which bunker they're in. Some of these greens slope severely where it's very hard to get the ball to stop if you're in a bunker. So that's why I'm saying they could pose some problems for some players. But, yeah. All right, 13th hole, what are we looking at? 13th hole, this is another par 5, all right? And this is basically the signature hole of Oak Hill. So where they're playing, this is basically their signature hole. Not a crazy, nothing crazy on the hole. Obviously, some bunkers. There's some undulations in the fairway and a tight little landing zone for the tee shots and stuff. But this is their signature hole. Pretty cool hole. 14th hole, we got another par 4. Short par 4 here. You may see guys go for this green off the tee. It is a risk-reward type decision. Again, look for these green side bunkers up here to be heavily populated by the guys who are going for the green in one, off the tee box. You could look for that there. 15th hole, we got another par 3. Very generous green here, quite large. Relatively easy hole for these guys. I don't think they should have too many problems other than, again, a inaccurate shot. Then they might have some issues here, but nothing crazy. I'll get to your question in a second, Craig. I just saw it come across the screen. Another par 4 here. Again, bunkers come into play, but nothing crazy here. 17, you're looking at some bunkers again in play. This is a par 4 for the pros. Not going to be a par 5, but this will be a par 4. And then your closing hole at 18, which is one of the most storied holes on the course. And it's an interesting little hole to end with. Again, you got some greenside bunkers up here. You got some fairway bunkers here. So accuracy off the tee, accuracy on your approach shots is going to be key. All right. Question from Craig. Is this the typical start of research when betting golf, or do you just bet the majors and maybe the players? So my thing with golf is I don't necessarily bet golf regularly. I do bet the majors a lot. I do bet some of the tournaments based on what I see with some of the lines. I don't bet outright winners per se. I will bet matchups, and I will bet some props around the golf. But understanding the course itself, like in this example, is one of the keys to understanding how you're going to bet the tournament, all right? Because in a course like this, right, a couple things come into play. I'm going to talk about them in a minute, but driving accuracy is important. Your approach accuracy is important. Driving distance is also important with this one, and then putting. So this is on a bent grass greens. So some players are not good at putting on bent grass. They're just not good at it, historically speaking. Those guys automatically get eliminated. I don't care if they're number one player in the world. Some of them just aren't good at it, right? So guys who struggle with accuracy off the tee or struggle with distance off the tee instantly get shot down my consideration board, because this course requires accuracy and it requires distance. Okay, it's a long course, 7,400 yards at a par 70 is a very long course. So the guys who suffer in the distance category are going to be at a disadvantage already. That's why I don't like some of them. So understanding the course is one of the things. Obviously, understanding then what you're going to use from the course. So knowing that you need to have accurate and long drives, knowing that strokes to the approach game are going to be important, knowing what kind of greens it are, then that helps me figure out who I like from the actual tournament itself. All right, so just go over that. And these are the stats I'm looking at specifically this weekend. All right, so driving distance, driving accuracy, strokes gained around the greens, putting on bent grass specifically, and then strokes gained in difficult scoring conditions. So there's the chance for some weather, not crazy weather this weekend, not like the Masters, but there are a chance for some weather. So I don't know what my next slide is actually. Oh, my players that I like, and then picks for today. So Um, yeah, I'm sure I said something. Anyway, let's talk about who's playing and who we like this week. All right, so some of the big guys you're going to see are going to be John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy. Those are like your three that are coming up at the top of a lot of people's boards this week, and rightfully so, right? Three very good golfers, three guys who are very long off the tee and then also very accurate off the tee, very good in all the other categories that I'm specifically looking at. Some other guys that people are liking this week are Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Tony Finau. So those are some interesting picks there. Jason Duffner won the last tournament here, but he withdrew earlier this week because injury. I don't know exactly what his injury was, but all right. Let me scroll down my notes here because I have a notes page, so I don't put them all up on the screen. So for your driving distance and your driving accuracy, all right, there's a couple guys that I'm focusing in on as the top players here. And if I flip back to here and I show you some of the stats, right, you can pull these up on the PGA Tour. This is driving distance, right? So these are guys who are doing well in driving distance. Now, the one thing you will have to take out of here is the guys who are actually playing in the tournament, not necessarily who is good at these, right? Some of these guys are not playing this week, okay? So driving distance is one. Another one is driving accuracy, all right? Driving accuracy is another one here that is important. And Dr. Don't Pass, you asked me a question about who is a long shot that I like. This guy right here, Russell Henley in driving accuracy. Accuracy off the tee is going to be very important. He has some long odds this week to win, so we'll go over him in a little bit. But Russell Henley, Morikawa is up here, but some other guys that I looking at based on some these stats, other stats after I factored them in and stuff. Patrick Cantlay, Scotty Scheffler, Gary Woodland is pretty long off the tee, not as accurate. He's known to spray a few here and there, but very long. Victor Hovland's another one. Joaquin Niemann is another guy who could be a long shot potential. He has that accuracy. He has that distance. And Cam Young is another one who has some of that stuff that is working for him. Another stat that I'm looking at, and I see Craig put it in here. Besides Rory, Ricky is a great bent grass performer. That is a true fact. He's also quite good at his approach game. Believe it or not, he is in the top 10 for strokes gained approaching the green. Some other guys in that listing, though, would be Tom Hoge, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Morikawa, Wyndham Clark, Paul Casey, Ricky Fowler, Scotty Scheffler, Mito Pereira, and John Rahm. And then shots gained around the green, right? So those are where those bunkers are going to come into play. Those missed approach shots are going to come into play. You're looking at Brendan Todd, Justin Thomas, Kuchar, Tommy Fleetwood, Sungjae Im, Jimmy Walker, a couple other guys. So based off of all of that, right, the main guys that I like based on these stats right here are going to be Rahm, Finau, Schauffele, Cantlay, Jason Day leads a lot of these, or not leads, but is high up in a lot of these categories. Sungjae Im, Max Homa, Spieth. Be careful with Spieth. All right, Spieth has the wrist injury. Look for the rough. If he's not on the fairway, if he's in the rough, look for that wrist to flare up. Wouldn't be shocked if you see Jordan Spieth withdraw from this tournament at some point because of that wrist injury that he has. He withdrew last week from his hometown tournament and from his sponsors tournament to rest up for this week. A couple shots out of that rough, he's in trouble. All right. So those are a couple of the guys I'm looking at now. For Ricky Fowler, okay, Ricky Fowler and I have a personal vendetta against each other. And the reason why is I've been a Ricky Fowler fan since I really understood the game of golf. And time after time, he just pains me and he reels me in every time, right? He's reeling me in, and he blows up, all right? I have such a love-hate relationship with him. I like him to do well, but I can't root for the man. That's just me, though. All right. So The main guys that I'm looking at this week, okay, I mentioned most of them already, but here they go. Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau, McIlroy, Schauffele, and Cantlay. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to pop over here, and I'm going to show you the odds for most of these tournaments, okay, or for most of these guys for the tournaments, and I'm going to tell you who to cut it off at. But this is also where I'm going to show you some of these long shots that have a good chance, right? So the guys I mentioned, you're going to be like, well, degen, you're a genius. You're picking the top few guys. Well, there's a reason I'm picking them, because this course is not easy. These guys lead in a lot of these stats, and they are favored rightfully so, okay? So obviously Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy, Schauffele, Cantlay, I said all those guys, right? I didn't say Brooks Koepka. Why didn't I say Brooks Koepka? Well, look for Koepka to have a decent week. Do I think he wins? No. Do I think he has a decent week? Yeah. Accurate off the tee is my main concern there. He is long. The accuracy, though, tends to flare up occasionally, and when he's not hitting the ball accurately, they are all over the place. He will be in a world of hurt if he is not hitting the ball accurately. Okay? So that's why I don't love me some Koepka this week. Otherwise, I'd be high on Koepka. I'm just not high on him because of the driving accuracy. Then you got Finau, Jason Day. A couple of guys I've mentioned up in here, right? Here you go, Homa. Here's Ricky Fowler at 55-1. Not terrible. Don't love it. Neiman, I mentioned him on driving distance. I don't love him this week at 65-1. Wyndham Clark has been raising some stir recently because of his driving accuracy, his driving distance. He's been playing well. I don't love him at 80-1 though. But you asked me for a couple long shots. Here you go. Russell Henley would be my main long shot that I like at 90-1, at 120-1, depending where you get him. Russell Henley this week, look for him to have a good week. Do I think he wins? No. Do I think he makes the cut? Absolutely. The line for him to make the cut's like minus 122 when I looked at it earlier. Hammer on that for me. But if you want a guy, one of these long shots to finish, like a top 10, top 15, he's one of them. We'll pull up his line in a minute. Other than that, I wouldn't be going down too much down here. I think it was Craig or John, one of them mentioned Keith Mitchell. John Seiko mentioned Keith Mitchell. He's down here at 200-1. He's decent, but he falls apart a lot. Other than that, I wouldn't really worry about a lot of these guys at all. They're not really worth worrying about here. So I'm not going to go down the list any farther, but I am going to go over here to FanDuel, right? So these are the outright winner lines here, okay? But there's some specials on FanDuel. I know DraftKings has some of the same ones as well. So if you have an account on either one of those books, take a look at some of these specials, all right? So these specials I really like here, all right? So this one's very, very interesting to me, okay? We're talking about, let me make this bigger so it actually shows up here. But get rid of the bet slip. Come on. Get rid of the bet slip. I don't want the bet slip. All right, whatever. It's not showing up. But like a bet like this, right? Some of these, like these are the top guys to finish in the top 5. Now, I love all 3 of these guys. Do I think 2 of them finish top 5? 100%. So this is a bet that I do like. Some of these other specials here are very interesting. So take a look at those if you like some of the guys that I've been mentioning, all right? But those 2 guys to finish top 5, 2 of the 3 of them to finish top 5 is an interesting bet. Then you have some other ones here like Jason Day and Dustin Johnson to finish top 20. I don't know if I love that one so much, but there's some other cool bets here, so take a look. I'm not going to go through all of them. Some of these specials, though, there are some interesting don't worry about these. Where are they? Make and miss the cut. This is what I want to talk about here. All right, make and miss the cut. Some of these guys here, obviously very high lines because of that, but you got Russell Henley here is in this in the discussion here. You also have Harris English, who I like a little bit this week as well. He's down at minus 122. So interesting there. So finishing positions, right? You asked me for a couple long shots here who are going to finish. I'm going to go, I think you asked me for top 40. So here's where I would go on top 40, right? Russell Henley to finish top 40. Love that bet. Homa to finish in the top 40. Love that one. These guys aren't really long shot winners, but the lines here are good for these guys to finish in the top 40. I mean, it's nothing crazy for these guys to finish top 40. If you like Keith Mitchell, him to finish top 40 is plus 230. Interesting line there for him. I wouldn't worry about most of these other guys here. But if you want to get a little bit squirrelier here with the lines, to finish top 20, Russell Henley's plus 260 to finish top 20. I like that one. I like him to win even. I don't love him to win, but I think he finishes top 20. I think he finishes top 10. I think he's in the hunt towards the end. All right. So that's basically my preview here, but I'm going to flip back to this screen over here because these are the main guys I'm looking at. I gave you some other things here, but I think your winner's coming out of one of these 5 guys here. I think it's Scheffler. I think it's Finau. McIlroy, if he shows up. I know Craig put it in there. He's so hit or miss. It's true. Schauffele and Cantlay. People are going to get on me for not having Rahm in this list. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I just get a feeling. I don't know. I like Scheffler over Rahm this weekend. So Scheffler, Finau, McIlroy, and Schauffele would be my guys to go to this week. What else do we have? So those are the players I like. If you guys have specific questions on certain players, you can message me in Discord, shoot me an email, all those kind of good things. And I know what some of you are waiting for today, so here they are. Today's plays, all right. 3-unit parlay, Man City versus Real Madrid over 2.5, and the Celtics money line in the NBA. These are not in Discord yet. I will put them up there. Hatton's a very sneaky play this weekend. I do like Hatton potentially. See, this is the thing, right? I'm gonna go back to this screen here. Okay. Even for like the top 20, right? This top 20 listing here with Hatton, he's plus 155 to finish top 20. I like that. Hatton has been sneaky good this year. And this course does fit his pedigree quite a bit. So Hatton, like that play there. I don't know if I like him to win a ton, but him to finish in the top 20, top 30, those are all plus odds. And if you want to get a little bit squirrely with him, top 5 plus 600. And if you want to sprinkle him to win, don't hate it. Could be a good option. So Hatton's not a bad option there. So then we got the Yankees today as well, and I'm also putting a future in. I talked about it on yesterday's show a little bit, but the Celtics in 5. I love the Celtics in 5 in this series. I think I said yesterday they win both at home. They win tonight. They win the next game at home. They split in Miami. They come home and finish it off in Boston. All right, so 4-1 series win for the Celtics. Celtics in 5. If you want to get real degenerate, all right, and I placed this bet myself already. It's for the exact series outcome. Game 1 is Boston. Game 2 is Boston. Game 3 is Miami. Game 4 is Boston. Game 5 is Boston. Plus 750 if you want it. You can also take the Boston, Miami, Boston run. It's also plus 750. But Celtics in 5, there's the bet for you. Look for some good soccer today in the Man City Real Madrid matchup. Going to be good. Celtics win tonight. Yankees are going to get it done tonight, and there's your future. And I think it is almost time for me to go because I have a hard stop here in a few minutes. So if there's any questions you guys have, put them in chat right now. I'm going to flip over to my normal chatting view. But if you guys have questions, you can put them in chat right now. If not, I will call the show, and I will get these picks posted in Discord here shortly. And we can end the show here. Don't want to take up too much of your time. I know your time is valuable, but I appreciate you guys stopping by and hearing my thoughts on the PGA Championship. Again, if you want specific player information or whatever, or you want my thoughts on a specific player, feel free to shoot me a message in Discord or shoot me an email, degen@gmail.com, and you can let me know. What is going on, Ed? How are you? Talking golf today. Are you a golfer, Ed? I never asked you that. I know you're a Bama football fan, but I don't know if you're a golfer. Talking some golf, finishing up the discussion. I don't see too many questions coming in. I'll give Ed a second to respond, and I'll give you guys another second or two. to go over things. John, Thursday modeling. Are you talking about for Thursday's show? If so, I put it up here earlier. I will not have a show tomorrow. I was planning on having one, and then I ended up having some work things come up at my normal show time that I can't move around really. But I can do modeling next week. If you want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, I can spend time modeling. Hit me up in Discord though with what specifically you want to see about modeling. All right. Let me know if you want like more general stuff about modeling, or if you want more like what specifically you want to see about modeling. I'll get with you in Discord about it and we can discuss. And then Friday's show is going to be about the ponies for the Preakness. We'll be talking horses. So yeah, that's what I have to say on all of that. All right. How's the table? Love it. It's fantastic. It's great. My new toy. I love it. I have almost 1,000 rolls logged already on it. That I'm tracking to see the results and stuff. So there you go. Gave my clubs away at the turn and went home last I played 25 years ago. All right. Well, golf can be a frustrating game. But yeah. All right, guys. I will end it here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a good night tonight betting. If you are betting tonight, the picks for tonight will be in the Discord here shortly. And what else? No show tomorrow. Again, Friday, we're talking ponies. So bring your cowboy hats. Bring your pony talk. Bring whatever you want, all right? Because we're heading to the stables and we're talking horses. All right, guys, I will see you on Friday. Have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. And good luck on your bets. Peace.